Get on board or get out. That was the threat now of a number of super PACs, one in particular here that is targeting Republican senators who are even thinking about voting against this latest health care measure. Take a look.
Republicans have been promising Americans, you give us a Republican president, we will get Obamacare repealed and replaced.
And you
we
either
did
go
not
along
get
with
here
us,
overnight.
or we're going to primary you out, even if it means risking losing the Senate in the process. You ought to look at cutting off your nose to spite your face.
No, you know what, Neil? Democrats, when they believe in something, when they have power, they use that power and they fall on the sword. And that was Obamacare. This is the exact same thing for Republicans and Republican voters.
As long as you're
and for those people
recognizing,
in blue
Katrina,
states.
that by falling on the sword you have a good possibility of losing a Republican seat in Nevada, then that's your call. But that's the risk, right?
Well, we promised voters, conservatives, Republicans alike, that we were going to repeal and replace Obamacare. We're not going to fix this overnight.
You didn't really repeal it, and this is hardly a black and white replacement.
This is beginning the process. But this is beginning the process.
All right, now that was her view of this, that she was going to target Nevada Republican Senator Heller, of course, who could be in a very tough re-election fight. Remember when he won last time, it was by less than 1 percentage point in a state where you have a lot of workers and those that depend on Obamacare. So the view was that he would be extra vulnerable, and sure enough, he is. Now, to a guest who says it shouldn't just be Heller, any Republican who dares to cross lines here and reject this health care measure being pondered now on the part of Republicans. He's Citizens United President David Bossie. David, good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Do you extend that to these other Republicans who are right now not keen on supporting this Senate measure? By that I mean Rand Paul and Ted Cruz and some of the names we're showing up here.
Yeah, I really don't, actually. I think Senator Heller and Senator Collins are kind of off on their own. Senator Cruz, Mike Lee, Senator Johnson, they have some principled positions that they would like to see the president and Mitch McConnell consider. And I think that they are working, like the Freedom Caucus did in the House, on how to get to yes, how to pass the president's repeal and replace bill. That's one part of it. The other is the political calculation that really seems Dean Heller is taking, which is, I'm going to be off on my own. And that's a situation that he is going to be held to account. And that's really what I think Katrina was talking about, and she was exactly right.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you and I can respectfully disagree. I know what you're saying. You know, he's in a unique situation, though, in Nevada, right? I mean, the pressure there is in a unique situation, right? So you think that
every senator, every
challenge to him, right?
No, I'm saying that we want him to vote yes. We want him to get to yes. But he needs to be part of this team because he's putting the entire Republican agenda, if you will, at risk by being a no vote here. Because if we don't get repeal and replace through, the next thing on the president's agenda is a tax reform package. And, of course, it stalls, if not derails, that opportunity. And that's why this is not just one issue.
Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, they're the kind of guys who say, well, if this is the closest we can do to getting a rework, then it's not worth the time. If they get to that stage where, despite their best efforts, these other senators saying, I can't vote for this thing in good conscience, it's just Obamacare light, you've heard all the stuff they've characterized that. Then would you recommend a primary challenge to all of them?
No, look, I think we're very early in this process, and like Katrina said a moment, in your show yesterday, this is going to take place over the next couple of weeks. Today's a little bit early. We're trying to give these senators an opportunity to work with the Senate Majority Leader, who's doing, I think, an admirable job trying to hold this together.
And you see, look, right now,
Right now, Rand Paul is meeting with the president because he wants to talk about those important issues that he believes are imperative to have as part of the package. If he can go meet with the president and try to do it what I consider the right way, which is working with the Senate leadership, working with the White House. Dean Heller kind of caught everybody by surprise and did his own thing. It's part of it is how you do it as well, Neil. So if he wants to participate in the process that way, he is also going to have to deal with the ramifications of that.
You could extend the way they've characterized it to the likes of, Senator Portman and Shelley Capito, and you could go on to Cory Gardner. All of whom have expressed serious reservations about some of the more draconian cuts. They say draconian cuts in this
Neil,
plan.
there's a difference.
What's the difference between those guys and Heller?
Because those folks that you just mentioned want to get to yes, and they're looking for an opportunity to build the best Senate bill to send back to the House. Senator Heller seems to have just said no, and we are not going to move forward. And that's a different attitude, and I think that's what we're trying to address.
So when I hear him talk about a fix that makes sense for Nevadans, how is that saying no?
Well, if he's saying that, that's good news to me, because I haven't heard him say that.
All right,
so
but right now, he's the only one you would consider, like Katrina, to go after if push came to shove.
I think that's right, but I think we are looking to work with him. We want him to get to yes, and I'm hopeful that he's working with the legislative team, which is outstanding at the White House and at Senator McConnell's staff, to try to get to yes. This is a bigger issue. This is a bigger issue than just one senator who wants to look at it through their lens. You are part of a team.
David, I just want to be clear. I want to be clear, as I was trying to be yesterday, and I appreciate you taking the time to try to clarify this, but would you be happy, regardless of his health care view, with that seat potentially slipping Democrat in your quest for purity?
First of all, I believe if we have to go that route, and I think it's a hypothetical that will not happen, that seat is winnable by other Republicans. That's not a throwaway seat. You're not just saying, oh, Dean Heller's the only one who can win it. That's just not accurate. There are many people out there.
Usually that's what happens, right? I mean, if there is a party challenge, normally, you're right, not all the time, but normally that side loses.
No, look, that can it has happened historically both ways. But okay. I can just tell you, in Nevada, we can win that seat either way. And I hope that Dean Heller gets to yes.
All right, David, thank you very, very much. David Bossie, the Citizens United president.